This tutorial is going to show how to go long and place trades using the perpetual futures market. So as mentioned previously, you should only use the perpetual futures markets if you want to hedge a position. So you own some spot and you want to use the perpetuals to short against that so that you can reduce your risk. Or you can use perpetual futures if you want to trade using leverage in order to reduce your risk by not having to have so much money on the exchange. And other than that, you should really not be using the perpetual futures markets. There are the two main reasons for using them. Otherwise, you can just use the spot markets and avoid these complex instruments altogether. The reason we say that and advise that is because, as you can see on the screen, if this is your first time looking at a futures exchange, it's very confusing at first look. And it's made that way on purpose. They are trying to catch you out. They do want you to make mistakes. They want you to put on positions incorrectly. Unfortunately, that's the business model that exchanges have. The more mistakes you can make, the worse your entries, the more exits and entries you have to make on positions. It all equates to more activity, more fees for them. And so, if you've got to this point, you need to be somebody who is willing to do some independent research. So, I'm going to cover the basics of how to go long, how to enter either with a market or a limit order, how to set a stop loss, how to take profit. And then we'll talk in future lessons about leverage specifically, about shorting, and about how to manage the trades. But for everything else, you should use the help guides on the exchange. So the exchange we're looking at here is Bybit. And down the bottom, there's guides. Okay, so you go to articles and click on more, and that will bring up articles on everything that you could imagine about the different types of margin, P&L, take profit, stop loss in detail. Okay, we are not here to hold your hand through every single aspect of the exchange. A certain amount of it requires you to be proactive in your own learning. So, with that said, when you're using the exchange, you have a few tabs. Okay, so we touched on these before, but to enter and exit trades, you're going to use the order form. So they were on the Bitcoin contract here, and I want to go long on Bitcoin. Well, first, you need to check with your leverage. So the leverage is always set to being on, but I'm going to put it off for the purposes of this tutorial. You can see that there are two types of leverage. These will be covered in a different module. For now, I'm keeping the leverage off to simply just enter the trade. So I want to buy Bitcoin. I can buy with 10% of my money, which would be around $100 because there's 1,000 in this test account. 25, 50, 75, or 100% you can pre-select, or you can select yourself by quantity or by USDT. So if you click on that button, you can either enter the quantity of Bitcoin you want, or you can enter the amount of dollars. So I could say, I want to buy $100 worth of BTC at the market, and I can press open long. I can confirm it, and it will open. So I am now in a trade actively. Along the bottom, you will see your position tab will come up. It tells me what I'm trading, the quantity, the value in dollars, the entry price, the mark price, which is the current price, liquidation price, the margin, unrealized P&L, realized P&L, and then you can add take profit or stop loss, you can add trailing stop, or you can close the position. So now I'm in a long position, okay? The realized P&L, as you see here, is the sum of the position P&L, trading fees, and funding fees. This is being shown on Bybit, but any futures exchange you use will have something similar to this, which is again why we recommend that you read the specific exchange documents that you have. We're just going to cover the basics of how to get in, get out, and protect yourself. So you'll have the position open. Your realized P&L is things like fees. Okay. The unrealized P&L is the difference between the entry price and wherever price is at the moment. So if you're in negative, it'll be red. If you're in positive, in profit, it'll be green. So I'm in this position now, and I think to myself, I shouldn't have entered here. This doesn't seem like a great place to be long. Or I made a mistake, which can happen sometimes where you enter the wrong amount or you enter the wrong time. I want to exit my position fast. The quickest way to do this is to close your position using a market order. Close by market. Select 100% if you want to close your full position. Or select, if you want to close part of it, select part of it. But I'm going to close my position. Confirm it. And that's done. That's the most important thing you probably will need to do. Okay? That is to help you get out of a position so that you're not at any more risk from the market moving. There's other ways you can exit, like there was a tab before, which was limit. Remember what a limit order is. A limit order is a promise to buy or sell at a price if the market reaches that price. So if you want to exit immediately, you don't want to use a limit order because a limit order will not fill immediately. It will dictate if you wanted to sell a limit order, it would have to be at a higher price. If you want to buy at a limit order, it would have to be at a lower price. So that's how to open a position at the market, how to open a position to go long using limit order. Let's say I entered that position, but because the price had been moving up, I shouldn't have went long. Instead, I could say, okay, I want to go long if price drops back down to here at 16,400. To do that, I would go to 16,400 as the order price in the open tab for a limit order. 100 USDT, and I would open it. It will come up. Do you want to confirm? Confirm. Now you would see, instead of position opening where there's prices changing and profit and loss, there's instead just a green line across the bottom saying limit order. So if I go to the active tab of my orders, you can see all the same details we mentioned before. So now we have a limit order. So if price reaches down to here, it will enter a position of that size. Now for every trade you put on, if you are risking your hard-earned cash, you should have some type of stop loss in place to avoid taking losses beyond a fixed amount. The way you do that is by using the stop loss function. So the simplest way is to do it at order execution. So I'm going to cancel this order. I'm going to go back. We're going to say, let's imagine we wanted to enter at 16,400 as before. Well, if we want to enter at 16,400 with a $100 position size, we can see here, buy long with TP/SL. So that means you can go long and add both a take profit and a stop loss. So your stop loss, you simply put in the price at which you want to exit the trade if you are wrong. So the entry was 16,400. Let's say we wanted to limit our risk to 16,300. So if price goes down here, you want to exit the position. You would simply enter 16300. It even tells you that your expected loss would be this amount if price was to reach your stop loss. At the same time, you can add a take profit and say if it comes down to 16,400 and it fills, I expect it to bounce. And if you expect it to bounce to 16,700 up here, you can add that as well. 16,700 again tells you what your expected profit would be if you were correct with this trade. You can then open this position Again, it will ask for confirmation. So always read this. Order price, 16,400. Make sure your take profit is above, your stop loss is below, and that you are managing your risk. Confirm. Now they will all go onto the system. So you have one active open order at 16.4 with your stop loss and your take profit set. If and when that order triggers, so price comes down and it hits and it enters, your stop loss and your take profit will be put on and you will see them here. So that is the basics of how to open a position using perpetual futures markets and the slight differences between that and between the spot markets. So I'll cancel this. You can enter by limit order, you can enter by market order, and there's also another tab which is called conditional orders. So as you can see on the screen, a conditional order is activated only when the trigger price is reached. You can use conditional orders for take profit, stop loss, and breakout trading purposes. So if you want to set a take profit or a stop loss by itself, so not along with the trade, if you want to set it separately, you can do so here. So if we imagine that we had that 16,400 trade open, but we still wanted to set stop loss by itself, 16,300, and you can set it at market, 16,300 at market for the position size of your BTC and short. You can do that. It will go on to the books here.